Today we're going to be doing a quick comparison between these two carpet cleaners. Over here on my right in the green, we have the Bissell Little Green Carpet Cleaner. Then over here on my left in the black and red, we have the DirtDevil. Now these are both small carpet cleaners, but this one, the DirtDevil, is much smaller. And we'll definitely get into some of the pros and cons about that in just a moment. So in this video, you guys can expect to see some actual carpet cleaning comparisons. I'll also be going over the different features that these offer and cable lengths and actual hose lengths. And of course, which one I think performed the best. So anyways, let's go ahead and start talking about the tanks because that's probably the most important thing about carpet cleaners. So both of these have fairly large dirty water tanks or gray water tanks, whatever you want to describe them as, but their full indicators are much lower than the actual tank. So in reality, this is about as high as you guys could go before this thing basically shuts off and stops sucking in water. Then on this side, we have a max of right there. So it's about 1/3 of the way down. So what I've noticed with the little green, I can get a lot more solution in the clean side. So we have a massive clean tank here, whereas the DirtDevil, it's a much smaller container. And when I use the DirtDevil, I found myself replacing this little tank way more often than the little green machine over here on my right. Something I did want to point out on the DirtDevil over here is we have a built-in cleaner for the hose. So you guys could just stick the end of the hose right in here to clean it, which makes things very easy. This one, the little green, I believe they have an attachment to do the same thing, but this one you can't lose, which is something I like. You guys also get some pretty cool brush attachments here, different brushes. This one's a rubber, and you guys even get some cleaning liquid there. Now, they're both very similar in the way that they store cables. They have very long hoses, and I want to do a quick comparison here on the hoses to see which one I could bring the furthest back, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Alrighty, so it actually looks like the DirtDevil has a longer hose. So that's good to know. And it's very surprising because this is a more compact machine, but seems to have a longer hose. Now let's go ahead and see which one has the longer power cable. All right, so for this comparison, the little green has a slightly longer power cable by just a couple of feet, but still, regardless, pretty impressed. So now let's talk about the actual brushes. They're very similar, but I will say the DirtDevil has a slightly wider brush and it has worked very well in the past on my couch. This one is a little bit smaller. So despite having a larger tank here, we do have a smaller brush, which limits how fast we can work, but they still do a fairly good job. And I think we're gonna be getting into the actual carpet cleaning section in just one moment. All right, so we have both machines ready to go. I have a spare piece of carpet right here mounted to my table. We put the exact amount of solution that they say that we should use for both machines. And now we're gonna give this ketchup stain a test. So we're gonna be starting things off with the Bissell Little Green machine. So we're gonna switch it on and we're gonna see what happens here with the stain right here. Okay, so I think that took us about a minute to take care of that stain. Pretty impressed. I'm trying to go until I see that this is not taking up that much more water, just to give this an even test. Now we're gonna try the DirtDevil, and I have a feeling this one's gonna do just as well because I have used both of these for quite some time now. So let's go ahead, power this one on. Instead of a switch, we just have a push button. So overall, as you guys could see for yourself, these both did a great job. I don't think you guys are gonna go wrong with either of them, but I will say after personally using both of them, I really like the nozzle on this one. Even though the DirtDevil is smaller, it does seem to be maybe slightly louder or higher pitch. I'm pretty surprised with the suction power on this thing. For being a bigger brush, it actually seems to have more suction power, which is very surprising. you would think that the smaller one would have more suction power. But that's just my opinion. I think that both of these machines do a great job, but I do really like the way that the DirtDevil just performed and just how quickly it picked up that stain. So anyways, that is my really quick comparison between these two carpet cleaners.